The Tesla Cybertruck was supposed to change everything: a bulletproof exterior, a certainly unique design, and the vehicle that Elon has said himself is Tesla's best product to date. But fast forward to today, and the Cybertruck, to put it lightly, is not selling as well as Tesla had hoped. So what happened? So in this video, we're going to take a look at the numbers and the Cybertruck itself to see what exactly is going on. Unlike the Model 3 and the Model Y, Tesla doesn't share the exact number of Cybertrucks sold, but instead they group them together with the Model S and the Model X on their earnings report. However, due to a recent physical recall on all Tesla Cybertrucks on March 20th, Tesla was forced to share the number of Cybertrucks that were recalled, which was basically all the Cybertrucks sold up to that point. So we do have that number, which was slightly over 46,000 Cybertrucks as of March 20th in 2025. This recall was for a piece called the cant rail on the side of the Cybertruck that was falling off on some people's Cybertrucks, which of course is not a good thing. And this is not the only recall the Cybertruck has faced, although like most Teslas, most of the Cybertruck recalls have been fixed via software updates. But the Cybertruck did also previously have another physical recall way back when it first came out about a piece on the acceleration pedal that was sometimes sliding off, which again, just does not seem very safe. So what's supposed to be the world's toughest truck has already had 2 physical recalls for things just falling off. And for a truck with a bulletproof exterior, is it really held together well? And is this why people aren't interested in buying one? And for more context, I think it's important to know that initially, Tesla had planned to deliver and make up to 250,000 Cybertrucks per year when they first were announced. However, that number was slightly revised to less than half of that, of now we're supposed to be 120,000 Cybertrucks made in a year. And even then, based on what we know now with the Cybertruck sales data, 120,000 in a year seems like a stretch. So why aren't people buying this? I mean, we can only speculate, but I will say, myself, I was recently in the market for a new Tesla, and I was between the Model T Performance and the Cybertruck. And obviously, if you follow me, I went with the Model T Performance, but I'll tell you guys a few reasons why I decided to choose that over the Cybertruck here. The first and the biggest of those reasons that I went with the Model 3 over the Cybertruck is the price. You get $100,000 for the Cyber Beast, $80,000 for the long range, and $70,000 now for a single motor variant, which is basically the long range with everything cool taken out of it. My Model 3 Performance was $55,000 and $47,500 after the tax credit, which the Cybertruck is a tax credit too, but the Model 3 Performance was almost half the price of a Cybertruck. And secondly, for me, the utility. I just didn't need a truck. I had a Model 3 for a few years now, and there was no point ever in my life where I didn't have enough space for what I needed. I love the Cybertruck looks, I love the Cybertruck features, and I love the space that it has, but for me, it wasn't worth paying all that extra money for a space that I probably wouldn't use. And lastly, for me, the third reason, I just didn't know if it would fit in my garage. And I know some Tesla service centers offer overnight test drive. I couldn't get one here in Las Vegas. I did a self-service drive. I thought I could take it home and see if it would fit. However, I only get it for an hour and they wanted me to charge, so I couldn't take it in my garage. And for those of you saying just measure it, I did. My garage has a little lip in it where the wheels would stop if I backed it in. And the Cybertruck would barely fit without that little lip. And with the lip, I'm not sure if it would fit. So anyways, like long story short, I just didn't know if it would fit in my garage. Now again, that's all just me and my opinion. There are some other reasons that we can speculate why people aren't interested in buying this Cybertruck. So let's go ahead and speculate and talk about that. And I thought of 4 on my own. The first one being the original specs. If you were a day 1 Cybertruck reservation holder and it came out with the specs you see today, you'd probably be a little bit upset. People who made early reservations were expecting a $70,000 truck with 500 miles of range or a $50K truck with over 300 miles of range. And eventually we got not that. And I understand inflation and supply chains and all that stuff, but again, if you were a day 1 reservation holder and you saw the specs that we got today compared to what you were expecting, you can't be too happy about that. Secondly, the design. Yes, it's polarizing. Not much to talk about here. You either hate it or you love it. Now me, it's grown on me. At first, I wasn't sure. I didn't care too much for it, but being around it, seeing it in person, seeing the sheer size of it, it's grown on me. And like I said, I'm a fan of the design. Now third, like we mentioned, the recalls. The Tesla Cybertruck has had 2 physical recalls and a handful of other recalls that were fixed via software updates. But again, none of these were actually anything significant. Now, I don't think it's likely that most people aren't buying this because of the recalls, but I do want to say the mainstream media does a very good job of making the Tesla Cybertruck recalls seem like a much bigger deal than they actually are. And fourth, lastly, I want to mention politics. I don't want to get too much into it, and don't shoot the messenger, but in the reality of today, in some people's eyes, right or wrong, owning a Cybertruck is sort of like making a political statement. Now, again, Elon Musk has claimed the Cybertruck is Tesla's best product to date, and honestly, if you can get past the polarizing looks and compare the specs and the features to other cars in its lineup, I think he has a pretty good point. The truck's exterior is comprised of stainless steel, which is indeed tested to be bulletproof. Both the rear doors and the front doors open to 90 degrees, which is a huge opening to put your family and big things inside your truck. You get a full 6-foot long trunk bed that's power opening, and you get a powered tonneau cover. I think I'm pronouncing it right, I'm not sure. But that is, again, a huge space and perfect for what you would consider a full-size truck. And like every other Tesla, you get a pretty good size sub-trunk as well. And while we're back here, you also get power outlets, 2 120s and a 240, which makes this a legit power working station. You get an adjustable air suspension, so it can get up to 17 inches of ground clearance, and you can control the air suspension how high or how low you want it from the screen or even from the Tesla app. It also has 4-wheel steering, which is insane. The turn radius on the Cybertruck might be tighter than my Model 3, which is insane for a truck this size. The sound system is just incredible. There's no way to put it. It's just incredible. You also get steer-by-wire, which is my favorite feature. The wheel only goes 170 degrees, so you're not putting your hand over your hand to make those U-turns. And with the Cybertruck's turn radius, to have to turn the wheel that little to turn that much is incredible. When it comes to the interior, you still get that clean Tesla-style minimalistic look. And as far as full self-driving goes, you get that with the Cybertruck as well, which is promised to be, hopefully soon, one day completely 100% unsupervised autonomous. So with all that being said, I think I have to agree with Elon. I think the Cybertruck is Tesla's best vehicle, at least as of today. But I want to know what you guys think. Honestly, leave a comment down below of why you yourself are not interested in buying a Cybertruck. If you hate it, let me know why. If you hate the design and Tesla makes a normal looking truck, are you going to be buying that? Or if you love it or are on the fence about it, what's going to push you over the edge to be interested in buying a Cybertruck? It's no secret the Cybertruck is not doing as well as Tesla would have hoped, but again, I think Elon's right. This product is amazing. And I already explained myself, I think if the price was similar to a Model T Performance or similar to what they first announced on their first introduction of it in 2019, it would probably be in my garage right now, if it were to fit in my garage. I don't know. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Thank you to Matt for letting me borrow his Cybertruck to make this video. He has his own YouTube channel. I'll link it on the screen here and down below, so go check him out and his Cybertruck content. But as always, thank you all for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.